Some people also ask, what exactly is the case with the people who were said to have defrauded the country, especially with the subsidy program, the oil subsidy payments? Because some people will say that it would seem that the focus has been on politically exposed persons, especially ex-governors, but some cases they believe the evidence is clear, and they're wondering the reluctance of the EFCC to pursue these cases.
The subsidy cases are ongoing in courts. As we speak, there are more than 30 of those matters are at various stages of prosecution in court. It is just that convictions have not yet been achieved on those matters. And we have to be mindful of the fact that some of the individuals affected in the subsidy case are not the run of many Nigerians. You have children of former chairman of the former ruling party, PDP. You have the son of Bamanga Tuko there. You have the son of Amado Ali amongst them. So those are not just ordinary Nigerians. They are also politically exposed persons because they are connected to the highest levels of political leadership in this country. But the cases are ongoing in court. Most of them we have gone midway into the trial. There is none of them that is not making progress in those cases. But I agree, we have not yet achieved conviction. But that does not mean that we are not prosecuting those matters in court.
Mr. Uwujaren, you talked about some of the challenges that the EFCC faces in court. One of those being blocks that are being put up by the lawyers of those accused. Let's look at the issue of injunctions that are sometimes obtained by accused persons, allegedly corrupt people. How are you going about, are you appealing some of them? For instance, perpetual injunctions to stop prosecutions. Are you appealing some of these injunctions?
Well, those are still part of the challenges that we face in this whole exercise. I'm sure if you are following the news, you also have read that last week somebody went to court to even stop EFCC from investigating him. And just yesterday, that matter was thrown out. So we are taking interest in those cases, and we will never rest on our oars. For instance, there was somebody who went way back and took a perpetual injunction against prosecution by EFCC. We have also appealed against that injunction. And anybody who wants to run away from prosecution, who has violated the law and believes that the court can give them perpetual protection to prosecution, we will engage them and ensure that they are brought to justice.
Can you explain how this worked out? For one of the cases you're handling now, the former governor of Jigawa State, he was remanded in prison custody in Kano. And a couple of days later, he is granted bail in Abuja. Please, how did that work? Well,
that is part of the judicial process. What actually happened in that case was that when Sule Lamido and his sons were arraigned in Kano, Justice Anyadike was the one that handled the arraignment. And after the arraignment, she did announce that she was adjourning the matter to September 28, but that their bail application could be taken by a vacation judge. And that leaves the whole matter to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court to appoint a vacation judge who will now take their bail application. And that was exactly what Justice Kolawole did this week. He took their bail application and released them on bail. I think that arrangement, it is only the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court that can explain how it works. But I think the judiciary knows how they operate, and I can't question that.
Your counsel did not try to explain to the commission what actually transpired on the day?
Nothing. There's nothing that transpired. Under the law, the bail is the prerogative. It is the prerogative of the judge to grant bail. And if a judge is appointed to hear a bail application of an accused person, it is the prerogative of that judge to either grant bail or refuse bail. And in his own wisdom, Justice Kolawole decided to grant bail to Sule Lamido on personal recognition. And we cannot question that, at least for now.
Because there were those who were wondering, wasn't he recognized before he was eventually remanded in custody, because when he spoke up in some of the papers there through his aides, they did say that they were just, your commission was basically being used to kind of politically witch hunt him because of his ambition. You must have come across that report, didn't you?
Well, Chamberlain, that is usually the popular refrain of any politically exposed person that EFCC takes to court on the basis of corruption. They usually claim to be victims of persecution. But the question that Nigerians should ask, who is persecuting who? What is the interest of the EFCC in wanting to persecute Sule Lamido? What offense has Sule Lamido committed that EFCC will want to persecute him? I think it is high time we should run away from all these fronts. We should not be chasing shadows. If a crime is committed, whoever is accused of committing that crime should be man enough to face the charges that have been filed against him. There is no reason for us to be whipping up sentiments and making frivolous allegations about persecution. Nobody is persecuting Sule Lamido. The charge that we have filed against him is a charge of money laundering and stealing. Let him face those charges. Let him prove his innocence before the court. And that is it. Period.
Mr. Uwujaren, you see, when you say the charges, if whoever has committed a crime should be man enough to face them. Now, a lot of Nigerians will wonder why some of them seem to get a slap on the wrist kind of judgment at the end of the day. Is it a question of the laws that, or the laws on which you're prosecuting these cases? For instance, a former governor was fined 3 million naira for after being convicted of stealing billions, and his brother also got 3 million. And a pension scam, someone accused of stealing from the pension funds, was asked to pay 750,000. Now, I know you know these cases. This sounds like a slap on the wrist kind of judgment for these people. How's that working out?
Well, I agree with you that in some of those rulings, it seems to be a slap on the wrist for some of them. But what we should focus our attention on is the decision of the judges in those matters. I will give an example. For instance, recently when EFCC prosecuted the younger brother, former governor of Edo State, Lucky Igbeneghu, I'm talking of Michael Igbeneghu, and another guy called Charles Ebebudi, who was a personal assistant to Lucky Igbeneghu while he was governor of Edo State. Both of them committed the same offense of money laundering, and we prosecuted them successfully before the Federal High Court in Benin. But when the High Court delivered its ruling, for the two people that committed the same offense, one was given a fine of 3.5 million. The other was sentenced to 14 years imprisonment for the same offense. So the issue is not the law. The issue is the person that is delivering, interpreting the law and making judgment on basis of law.
Hold on, if I may comment, is the EFCC appealing that?
Excuse me, I'm coming. Judges have discretionary powers. The law may say a judge can give either a fine or an imprisonment or both. But the situation we find in this country is that you hardly find a judge who will apply the full weight of the punishment, jail term and fine together. Most of the time when the case involves politically exposed persons, most of our judges will give them just fine and they go away. But the law allows them to use both fine and imprisonment. But we are yet to see that in this country. And so we should be more interested in that than people talking about a slap on the wrist. It is not the fault of the EFCC or any prosecuting agency to determine what punishment the court will give to an accused person in the case.
Victor Anosike says to ask you that Theodore Orji, former governor of Abia State, was granted bail in 2007. Now he's out of office and not back on trial, or back to trial. Why?
Well, the case of Theodore Orji, he was on before he supposedly won election from prison and served for 8 years as governor of Abia State. And he has only just left office. So I think it's premature now to be asking what has happened to that matter. It is not too early in the day, or rather it's too late in the day for something to be done in that matter. So
I thought you said...
I will simply ask the gentleman to just be patient and watch.
Okay, no, but have you finished gathering all your materials? Because from 2007 till now, that's a long time.
You know, when we started this discussion, you asked a question about Lamode's policy of not making too much noise about the investigation. I told you that it was deliberate. And I don't want to start talking about what we are doing now until we have reached a stage where we want to announce that, yes, we are ready to make progress in this matter.
Is the EFCC going judge shopping? Some people are saying that, you know, yes, you do admit that there are certain judges who interpret the laws differently. Is the commission going judge shopping? So
to answer your question straight away, we don't shop for judges. It is not EFCC that appoints the judges that handle our cases. We only file cases in court, and it is the prerogative of either the chief judge of a state or the chief judge of the Federal High Court to appoint a judge that will hear our matter. We don't appoint judges for ourselves.
So these cases that you have in court, what is the percentage? I mean, how sure are you that you're going to be making headway with them and concluding them anytime soon, considering that you've taken so long in the preliminary stages?
The most important for us is ensuring that we get our investigation right. Once you have gotten your investigation right and you have a solid proof of evidence, you can be sure that you will get a positive decision.
And you believe you have it right?
We have been very painstaking in our investigation lately, and I'm sure that we will get it right.
Well, Doran says, is the judiciary helping or frustrating the commission?
I wouldn't say that the judiciary is helping or frustrating our prosecution in court. Yes, we have problems in the judicial system, but there are also some very good judges who have also helped in ensuring that cases are not delayed in their court. I also want to place on record that the former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Aloma Mokhtar, came up with a practice direction, for instance, that helped our case. She also told most of the judges that they should not entertain delay in the trial of corruption cases, and that has helped in recent times. The progress that we have made in terms of number of witnesses that we have caught lately in some of the cases that we are prosecuting is as a result of that practice direction, and it has really helped. So yes, there are some bad lawyers and bad judges within the system, but we also have some very good ones that have helped us in the past.
All right, Wilson Uwujaren, spokesperson of the EFCC. Thank you for talking to us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, then we'll be back after the break. Don't go away.